Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Today I'm going to be having a look at the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Bestiary 2. This is the latest in the product line for the Pathfinder 2nd Edition role-playing game. And for full disclosure purposes, this was sent to me by Paizo for the purposes of doing a review. However, as in all of my other videos, the opinions expressed here are solely going to be my own. Paizo's not telling me what to include in the reviews. They're not requesting to screen it before it goes public. They're going to see it at the same time as everybody else. But we're going to be taking a look at the Bestiary 2 here, and this was a book that I'm honestly really excited about. However, I will also say a friend of mine is still waiting to get his, and he asked that I not spoil 100% everything in this book. So I might be skipping a few pages here and there just because I told him I would, and I am, try to be a man of my word. So this is the latest book, and honestly, when it comes to collections of like monster books, these things are always going to be awesome. So this says here, more monsters, more mayhem. So there's more than 300 menacing monsters and fearsome foes that await within this compendium of creatures from the world of Pathfinder. From classic adversaries like giants, dragons, and the Jabberwock, to potential allies and servants suitable for summoners of every alignment. This must-have expansion to the Pathfinder Bestiary sees with enemies to challenge characters of any level. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I can pretty much spoil the review portion of this by saying that this is a really awesome book. I mean, just to have collections of monsters in general, like monster books are usually pretty easy sells. And there's a lot of cool stuff in this one as well. Retail price is $49.99 US. So, taking a look here. Now, since I'm not going to be showing absolutely everything, what I will do is just go through the alphabetical listings. So if there's anything in particular that you're interested in, then you'll know what's in here at the very least. I mean, there is a ton of stuff. The alphabetical listings is almost like 2 full pages, and we only got to the letter I there. And there is the rest of the list. What's also great in here is that there is a pretty huge mix in challenges and levels and stuff like that, and there are some very high level creatures. I think there's even some creatures that are like level 23, I think, or something like that. So there's a lot of diverse stuff in here. There's information for adjusting creatures. Now, I had someone ask if there were rules for doing that in the Game Mastery Guide in a previous video, and I still haven't actually looked through the Game Mastery Guide to answer that, but I do know that the Bestiaries both have information on that. And I would suggest that it would probably be pretty similar in terms of doing that for NPCs. But anyway, we're going to get right into it here. So we have these Aeons, and just try to get as much in frame here as possible. And, again, like everything else when it comes to the 2nd edition Pathfinder, there's just some awesome artwork in here. Angels. Including the Planetar and the Solar. Well, yeah, there's a level 23. So yeah, I mean, just a great mix of things in here. Animate Dream. This is something that as soon as I saw this, I want to work this into a campaign or an adventure because that's just awesome. And like just to see some of the artwork for some of the more classic creatures. Is always it's just interesting to see some of the Pathfinder take on some of these, because for me I'm seeing a lot of these Pathfinder designs for the first time. I'm used to other role-playing games, but like for example here, the Athak, this thing looks awesome. I absolutely love the artwork on this thing here. Like the image I've always seen of this before was the sort of like hunched over and dopey looking like green, almost like a orc ogre hybrid, and the third arm was just coming out of the center of the chest. But I don't know, like this looks just absolutely awesome here. The assassin vine looks cool. I mean, like I said, there's just a ton of great creatures in here, and a lot of great potential sources of inspiration as well. We got the Basilisk Draculist, and then the Bebolith, the Bear, or the Beheer, however you want to pronounce that one. So yeah, I mean, there's just like a ton of great stuff in here. The Bodak also looks really awesome. You know, it's probably the coolest looking Bodak art I've ever seen before, and these were all creatures that I was always interested in before using, but man, that one just looks absolutely awesome. And yeah, so like I said, I will be skipping a few pages here just to live up to the promises that I made. But we also have the giant Krieb, as I've heard it pronounced. I think that's what the kids these days are saying. I just recently turned 37, so I'm at a point where I'm just being reminded of how old I'm getting. And then we have the Piscademon, which just looks like another thing straight out of Lovecraft, and just again, just some cool, just awesome stuff in here overall. The Nabasu is another one of my favorite creatures. I've never actually used one, but one of the first modules I ever bought involved one that was just about to mature. It just needed to devour like a couple more souls, I think, in order to do that. But yeah, just again, looks really cool. And you know, consume, death, critical success. Sorry, that's the stat block there, but starvation, vulnerability. So yeah, just awesome stuff in here. The Nelfeshni also looks really menacing. Like it just looks awesome. So really, really impressed with the Pathfinder, the Paizo art style. Like I really am. So and here we have some devils. So we have the Bone Devil here, the Osluth. And man, like again, just looks so cool. They just did such an amazing job with the artwork here. The Devourer was another one that, you know, I liked the earlier designs that I've seen from like the Open Gaming License source material, but this is just like so much cooler looking. Like I'll just bring it in a little closer here. And then you have like the souls that are absorbed into its body, just kind of swirling around inside. Again, just fantastic stuff. And you know, these monster books, again, like I said, they pretty much sell themselves. Like this is just an awesome collection of stuff to have here. And more creatures is always great. And I think they did an awesome job here. So we also have Primal Dragons, which I also really like here. So we have the Brine Dragon, which looks really cool. Just some awesome designs here. The Cloud Dragon. I actually really like that. That's one of my, I would say that's probably in my top 5 favorite dragon designs now. I don't know, there's just something about it. Then we've got the Crystal Dragon. And the Magma Dragon. And the Umbral Dragon, which is sort of like a shadow dragon type of thing. Cool stuff there, dragonflies. We got some drakes. Just skip a few more pages here. Some elementals. Frostworm. And the Froghemoth, because you have to have a Froghemoth. It's if it's not required by law, it should be, because the Froghemoth is an amazing creature. We got some giants here as well, so let's just take a look at those a little closer here. So we got the Wood Giant, which is pretty cool. The Marsh Giant, which looks kind of like a giant deep one, actually. I like that aspect of it. The Taiga Giant, not Tiger, Taiga. And then the Shadow Giant. Then we just have some golems here, including a carrion golem, and that just looks awesome. It's just like this this vulture creature. The Gorgon. And so yeah, I mean, these just look really cool. And so yeah, so there's also some sort of iconic creatures in here. So this is Grendel from like the Beowulf story. And creature level 19, so it's not necessarily an ultimate campaign ender, but yeah, that's just an awesome creature to have. I always liked the the Beowulf story. And even I really liked the CG movie too when it came out. So Grendel, something that I would probably try to incorporate into a later campaign. And then you got the little Gripply, just a little like happy little frog guy. Gotta say I love him. Hellcat, and what's actually kind of cool is that the Hellcat description talks about how they really don't get along with hellhounds. So it continues the cats and dogs thing here. And yeah, I mean, there's just good little... I guess something else I should really point out is that a lot of these creatures will also just have a little blurb on the sort of as like a sidebar type of thing for them. And it's just really just interesting little stuff to have. Like, so for example, we've got the hippopotamus here. And the little blurb is called Hippo Sweat. The hippopotamus sweat is an unusually reddish color that can lend them an even more frightening appearance that evokes the visage of a blood-coated monster. This sweat helps protect the hippopotamus from becoming overheated, but also bolsters their resistance to all manner of diseases. So it's just cool little factoids that go along with some of these. Hound of Tindalos, Intellect Devourer, just a brain with legs. And there we have the Jabberwock, creature level 23. So yeah, just another. I feel bad. I feel like I should know what this is a reference to. I just don't. It could also be the fact that it's like 2 in the morning when I'm doing this. Jellyfish. The Ling Spider is just a big old leech. Maybe it's not that big. Well, medium. That's pretty big for a leech. Leprechaun. Some more Leshies. I actually really like the Sunflower Leshy. I think that looks pretty cool. Then the Flytrap Leshy. Just skip a few more here. Actually, and then another classic creature that I just love the design of now, the Morgue. Again, Paizo just seems to be nailing it out of the park with the artwork, in my opinion. Just some awesome stuff in here. Oni, so we got some different types of Oni in here, which is cool. Some new oozes, including the giant amoeba, which just looks really gross. Then you have the carnivorous blob, like the movie The Blob. That's got to be a reference. That artwork, it just has to be. The Praeton, which also looks pretty cool in here, like the design. The Petitioner, Planar Scion, it's the Freak Pyrochemist. The Proteans. Again, just some awesome creatures in here overall. And yeah, so I'll just sort of go through things a little bit here. So here we have the Ravener, which is like this undead dragon, and that looks really cool. But that's the sample one. No, it's any evil dragon yet. But then I think we have the Revenant in here as well. Yeah, okay. So this is actually one that I was really looking forward to having. Not too long ago, I designed a short scenario for a different role-playing game that involved a Revenant as one of the encounters. And I really wanted to, actually initially I wanted to design that scenario for 2nd edition Pathfinder, but the Revenant wasn't out yet. Like, I thought it was in the first Bestiary, but it wasn't. But it is in here now, and it still seems to be in line with the level range that I had originally designed the other adventure for. So it would be really cool to finally be able to port that over. I've always loved Revenants. I thought like just the idea behind them was really cool. So. Scythe Tree, Scorpions, some Serpent Folk, Shocker Lizard. So yeah, I mean, like, so it's just a lot cool stuff in here. They got the Spectre, and that is a menacing looking Spectre. I know I'm focusing a lot on like the art design, but I think it's important for books like this to have like really compelling art. And this book, really does it. And I mean, the stat blocks are what they are, and it's great information to have. But the artwork is always something that's going to be really captivating to see. And then we got Spriggans, which can alter their size, which is really cool. We got the Vampire Squid, and then just a giant squid. Thunderbird, and then we got the giant toad, the ticks, some new trolls, so the frost troll, cavern troll, two-headed troll, and then we have the Jotun troll, or gigantic nine-headed horrors who prowl frigid moors, marshes, and wastelands. And they're level 15, but just, I mean, trolls can regenerate, so sometimes that's going to go horribly awry and lead to just this horrific abomination of heads. I would have to assume that each of these would probably have their own personalities. Yeah, it even mentions that they often argue with each other, so that's awesome. Alright, so we're getting near the end here. Vampiric Mist, another classic creature to have. And then we've got, so what are they, the Velstrak? In the search for ultimate sensation through self-mutilation. So these things are basically Cenobites. So anyone out there that's fans of Hellraiser, for example, then these are sort of your creatures here for that. And I think that's just another awesome inclusion to have in here as well. Obviously, they're not going to have like an actual pinhead, but it's just, again, just a cool creature concept to have. Void zombies, which are sort of lifted out of Starfinder. Were creatures, so we got the Wereboar, the Were-Tiger, the Cairn White, and just some awesome stuff here. Wolverine, a Worm That Walks. So this is another, like, again, sort of a templated creature, which I guess I should have mentioned with the Revenant, or the dragon one. But these are some guidelines to creating your own version based off of like any other host creature that you can be. So you can turn an existing evil living spellcaster creature into a worm that walks using the following steps. So you increase their level by 1 and change its statistics as follows. It gains the aberration of swarm traits and usually remains evil. Increase the AC attack bonus, DC, saving throws, and skill modifiers by 1. Reduce its hit points by the amount listed on the table to a minimum of 2 hit points per level. The Worm That Walks gains fast healing, resistance to physical damage, and weakness to area damage and splash damage is indicated on the table as well. And then for abilities, they gain Dark Vision, Tremor Sense within 30 feet as an imprecise sense. They are immune to disease, paralyzed, poison, precision, and unconscious conditions. They also have the Swarm Mind ability, which makes them immune to mental effects that target a specific number of creatures, though they are still subject to mental effects that affect all creatures in an area. All-around vision, and then discorporate, so when it reduces your hit points, it discorporates, and the component worms that make up its body disperse in every direction. If even a single worm escapes, the Worm That Walks will eventually reform using a process that typically takes 1d10 days, kind of like a lich. While the exact circumstances and surroundings determine how long the Worm That Walks foes have to dispatch the fleeing worms before they escape, usually its foes have only a single round. Typically this requires application of an area effect or splash weapon within 1 round to the space where the Worm That Walks collapsed. After any amount of area or splash damage is dealt to the space, the creature or the character dealing the damage must attempt a DC 15 flat check. Each subsequent area or splash damage effect performed on the area reduces the DC of the flat check by 2 to a minimum of 5. If any of these flat checks succeed, none of the worms escape. And the worm that walks is destroyed permanently at GM's discretion. Clever means of trapping or otherwise detaining the vermin may extend the time allowed to finish off the worm that walks. And then it gets a tendril attack. It gets the squirming embrace. So the worm that walks strides, ending its movement, sharing space with the creature, and deals piercing damage to the creature equal to 1d8 plus an additional d8 for every 3 levels that the worm that walks has. The creature can attempt a basic reflex saving throw with a DC of the worm that walks, spell DC -2, and then swarm shape. So the worm that walks collapses into a shapeless swarm of worms. It drops all held, worn, and carried items. While discorporated, the worm that walks can't use attack actions, can't cast spells, but it can move through small areas enough for individual worms to fit through without having to squeeze, and they can use the same action to coalesce back into its natural form. So it's just, cool ways of the abilities that you would add if you wanted to make one yourself, which is, again, really, really cool. And honestly, templates are something that I kind of miss in other games, so it's nice that they are here. The Dread Wraith, another creature that I really enjoyed. Then you got the Yellow Musk Creeper, the Yeth Hound, and yeah, so there we go. We have some the listing of creature types and just some basic information about them. And then we have some new rituals. So you can get Abyssal Pact. I'm not going to go through all of these, but we'll read Abyssal Pact just to see what it is. So it's a level 1 ritual. Cast takes 1 day. Primary check, religion. You call in a favor from another demon whose level is no more than double your Abyssal Pact's spell level. 2 demons whose levels are each at least 2 less than double the spell level, or 3 demons whose levels are at least 3 less than double the spell level. Critical success, you conjure the demon or demons. They are eager to pursue the task, so they don't ask for a favor. Regular success, you conjure the demon or demons. They are not eager to pursue the task, so they require a favor in return. Failures, you don't conjure any demons. And a critical failure is the demon or demons are angry that you disturbed them. They appear before you, but they immediately attack you. So you get some different packs there. So we have Abyssal, Demonic, Infernal, and then we have Angelic Messenger. And then we just get into our creatures by level and our open gaming license and just an advertisement for the Game Mastery Guide. So that was my look through most of the 2nd edition Pathfinder Bestiary 2. And overall, this is a fantastic book. Bestiary books in general, I think have always been really useful additions to any role-playing game, and this one is certainly no exception. There's a lot of awesome creatures in here that I really missed them not being in the first Bestiary, but I'm glad that they're included here. A lot of the undead in particular, and just the amazing artwork and creature designs that the staff over at Paizo have come up with. I'm really, really enjoying the art direction with a lot of these. For me, seeing the Revenant and the Morgue and like the Devourer, the new dragons that they've added, the new giants are great, and some unexpected things that are just really awesome to have in retrospect, like Grendel, like the Jabberwock, and the Cenobite-esque monsters in here as well. It's just a fantastic book overall. So if you are running 2nd edition Pathfinder, if you are a game master and you are running Pathfinder 2e, this is something that you should have on your shelves, because it's just a fantastic addition to your collection, especially if you plan on running adventure paths, because I'm going to assume that in the future the adventure paths are going to start incorporating creatures from this book into it, so it'd be useful to have for that. But it's just useful to have overall, because it's just really great assortment of stuff in here. So I highly, highly recommend the Bestiary 2. I think it's an amazing addition to the really fantastic Pathfinder 2nd edition product line that we've seen so far. Paizo continues to hit it out of the park with these products, in my opinion. And this is certainly no exception. They did an amazing job with this. So, let me know in the comments below, are you planning on picking up the Bestiary 2, and what are some of the creatures that you're looking forward to using from that book in your campaigns? So thank you guys very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Take care.